Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Gretzie. I am a pro makeup artist and beauty entrepreneur, and I'm so excited about today's video because this is literally the first time ever in the history of my career that I have sat down and filmed a YouTube makeup tutorial. Of course, I create a lot of tutorials on Instagram and TikTok. However, they are really quick and to the point. So to have the time to sit down and share with you all of my makeup artist tips and tricks so that you too can have more fun and ease when you do your own makeup at home, it is so rewarding, and I thought what better gift to give you all for the holiday season. I love sharing my passion because makeup is so empowering and inspiring. This is the makeup look that I created. It is glam, but it's still natural, and of course we have an emphasis on the lips. I'm typically not much of a bold lip person. I 99.9% of the time always wear a nude lip, but I have to say the way that I created this lip, I really like this. Like, it isn't shocking to me. It doesn't not feel like me, but it also feels perfectly like me for the holiday season. So if you're ready to see how I created this look, then keep on watching. I definitely have seen everything and anything when it comes to makeup problems, issues. So as I kind of go through here and take you through this holiday makeup look, I will try my best to be as educational as possible, because one thing that people really don't understand is makeup isn't actually hard to do. What makes makeup hard to do is when you don't have the proper tools and when you don't understand the placement of products. You don't need to have the fanciest makeup products to have a flawless makeup look. You just need to know how to layer them, how to apply them, and how to prep your skin properly. So starting off with my luminous under eye roller. Now, if you already follow me on other platforms, you will already know that I apply this every single time right before I do my makeup, but I also apply it day and night as a part of my skincare routine. All natural. This literally lasts you 6 months. A little goes a long way. And it is just great to brighten up and give a glow. So depending on the look that I'm doing, I will start with the skin or I will start with the eyes. Now, I always will start with the eyes if I'm doing a lot of detailed work, working with darker shadows, if I need a crisp eyeliner, because that way I can clean up any fallout after or make my liner really crisp by wiping it. But for this look, because it is more of an undone eye look and I am using more neutral shades for those shadow tones, I'm not too concerned about having any darkness under here on my concealer. So I am going to start with my foundation. Now, the reason why I like to do this is because when I'm doing more so a focal point of like a bold lip or the skin and not having anything too crazy on the eyes, I like to see how everything's looking before I really make the judgment call on how much eyeshadow I want to apply. I personally am not a huge eyeshadow wearer, so I'm more so about the skin and a good lash. Now, today's a good day for me to be filming this tutorial because for the most part, my skin is very good. But trust me, I have been to hell and back with my skin. So if you want a skin journey video, let me know. But I have had a couple of breakouts here today and they are pulling some pretty red tones here. I'm hoping that the lighting will show this to you. Now, will foundation cover this? Potentially, but if you are having any blemishes that really are pulling red, I highly recommend that you do some color correcting prior to foundation. So this is one of my favorite color correcting palettes. I will link everything here in this video too. And I'm gonna go in with this more orangey shade of the two of these shades here. And you're gonna see what I'm gonna do with this. I'm just taking a flat brush and all I'm going to do is essentially dab this over any areas that I fear will not be fully covered by foundation, or that I just want to be super certain that they will be covered regardless of what foundation I'm using. So why I love this product is it is perfect for color correcting blemishes. If you've seen my viral black eye video, 50 million views, I also use the darker version of this palette here. And then what I'm doing with my finger is I'm just softly kind of tapping it into the skin just so that we're not going to see any application, if you will, of this product after applying the foundation. So I want it to just blur, but you can see how it instantly removed any redness. And just for demonstration's sake, I will kind of go over a few other little spots here just so that we can be super flawless. And this is going to allow me to have a very light complexion everywhere else. And someone tell me why I literally have a cyst under my brow. This is one of my ride or die favorites when it comes to doing any kind of event look. It looks so great on the skin. I am a combination skin type, so I do get oily in the T-zone, and then I'm kind of more so normal dry everywhere else. And I love this because it gives me glow, but it's not too glowy, and I'll kind of show you how to make sure that we're nice and set elsewhere. going in with this foundation brush. And what I like to do when I apply my foundation is I like to do a thin layer in downward strokes just like this. Reason being is because then I can really see how this is looking coverage wise, and you can see here that I'm really shearing it out. Now you want to work in sections with your foundation. You don't want to just go all over the entire skin or it is going to dry on you. Then what I do is take a blender, it is damp, and then I'm just going to press this gently into the skin. I have gone to 2 of Makeup by Mario's masterclasses. This was back in the day, well before he ever had his line in Sephora and all of that, and I completely coined this technique from him, applying downwards and then blending with a blender. Now for contour today, I'm gonna use a newer product from MAC. This is actually a concealer, but it works fabulous as a contour. This is in the shade NW50, and I love the shade because it is neutral, but it has a little bit of warmth to it. So you're not only gonna get a good contour, but you're also going to get a nice bronze. You will see here a little goes a long way. So I just applied this almost in line with the top of my ear, if you see there. And then this is another brush that I love. I will also link it for you guys. And you'll see here what I do is I just take the brush and I start to almost just stipple it onto the skin over that contour product, because I don't want to move it a whole lot right now. I just want to kind of break it down before blending it out again with my blender. And you can see here that when I smile, this line is on top of my smile. So a lot of people I find, especially when they do a makeup lesson with me, they're contouring way too low, but you are just dropping your face. The whole point of contouring is to give a sculpt, to give a lift, to give some definition. So when it's time to blend, then I recommend that you get in the habit of blending upwards. This way you're not naturally bringing it downwards by swiping it back and forth. Then I take the blender, and you will see how the blender is always going to come in handy through my entire makeup look here, because it just melts everything together. And then we are leaving this area here for the blush placement. Then for the forehead, I have a lot of room here, so I like to go all the way around my forehead. Now, if you have a shorter forehead, I wouldn't go right in the middle. I would just do a little bit on the sides of your hairline, more so to make you look bronzed. But for me, I want to shorten my forehead a little bit, and you will see how this just kind of brings everything to life. And you want to make sure that you are truly blending this up into your hairline. So make sure you are pulling your hair back, and you don't want to have any rings here. So make sure that this just naturally kind of falls into the rest of your forehead. And you can see how it just marries together with my foundation in the center point by my nose. Now for your nose contour, I prefer to use an eyeshadow brush because it has structure to it. It's not too dense though, and it's not too fluffy either. So it still allows me to create a nice, soft, but sculpted line. And when you're doing your nose contour, a thing to keep in mind is use your eyebrow as a guide. And the closer that these lines are together, the slimmer your nose is going to appear. So you don't want to just be mindlessly contouring the side of your nose. What you really want to be doing is finding where you should be putting that line. And a good way to think about it is finding the spot where the drop off of your nose starts to kind of curve there. You want to find where is the flattest part that you can still create 2 lines. So they're not touching together, but you can see that they are very, very close together. And of course, I'm taking my blender and I'm just going in and patting this in to the skin. I like to think of the blender as like a magic eraser for your makeup. This is another product that I literally cannot do my makeup without because it perfectly counteracts my dark under eye circles. I use the shade Peach. If you are a lighter skin tone than me, then I would recommend using either Cherry Blossom or Pink Pomelo. If you are a deeper skin tone, then I would use Mango or even more orange, depending how deep your skin is. And then to blend it in, again, I just take my blender and I'm just going to pat this in. So you can see that I just applied it on the very inner corner of my eye. And what that does now is it literally removes the darkness and the hollowness underneath my eye, and then I just kind of shear it out to the outer corner. So you want to apply a color corrector under the eyes anywhere you're pulling a purple blue tone prior to applying concealer, because no concealer is going to brighten up a dark under eye without color correcting. And then for concealer, I have been loving this new Shape Tape Creamy by Tarte. It has amazing coverage, but it goes on so creamy, hence the name. And I have honestly been blown away by this. You don't need a whole lot. And then I'm also going to apply this over my eyelid because this is going to serve us as our eyeshadow prep. And you already know the drill, we are going to blend. Notice too how I didn't apply any concealer right up to the root of my lashes. I left it more so on the actual flat part of my under eye. And then with my blender, I'm just shearing it up into that area. You never want to be applying product right on top of an area that is creasing, especially under the eyes. So this is a great little tip if you find that you're always getting creasing, but as well because I did use that under eye roller at the beginning, I'm telling you, this is the proof in the pudding. Like, you will see once we set this under eye, how they are going to look so flawless. My under eyes never crease because of it, because they're always hydrated. The skin under the eyes is very fine, so it's really important that it is really hydrated and treated well. Now, because we're doing a red lip, I am going to be using a red blush as well. I love this one. It's by Armani. A little goes an extremely long way. Watch me here. For placement, you can see that I applied this right at that high point of my cheekbone. So what you want to do is like really find that bone on your face, and the highest part there that you can kind of feel, and you can see even in the highlight here sticking out, that's where you want to apply if you're looking to have more of like a lifted model effect. This is my go-to brush for any liquid or cream blush. It's by NYX and it's actually a foundation brush. But why I love it, you will see here, is because it does a great job of keeping the product in the area that we want it to be, but then it also allows us to shear it out. Now, does this look crazy? Yes, it does, but watch this. Now that it's blended, going back with my blender, and you will see how this just melts into the concealer, the contour. Now that it's blended, it doesn't necessarily look red on the skin. It just gives a nice natural flush. So now that I'm done with all of my liquid and cream products on the skin, I am going to set my under eyes. But before you do that, you want to make sure that you're blending out any creasing that may have occurred. So I'm just taking my blender once again just to make sure that I don't have any concealer creases right under my lash line. Taking my beloved Cherry Blossom powder on a little powder puff. You want to make sure that the powder puff is evenly layered with the powder. You don't want it to be all splotchy and uneven, because that's how your skin will absorb it. And all I'm going to do is start to very lightly tap this from the inner corner of my eye to the outer corner of my eye. And we are gonna let this sit while we apply our eyeshadow. And then I take a fluffy brush, and then I'm also going to pat this in all over the lid of my eye, so that we are going to lock that in as well. And then we will be ready to apply the powders and all of that without any creasing through the day. You can also use your powder to redefine and sculpt out your nose right next to that contour. This allows you to just clean it up and make it look very nice and snatched. Now for eyeshadow, we are gonna start with the beloved original OG Naked palette. You guys, this is my first ever eyeshadow palette, and that was back when I knew nothing about makeup. I only learned how to do makeup when I was like 21 years old. That's how I got into the industry. So it's really nostalgic to think about this. But what I wanna start with here is just creating a soft crease of the eye, and the moment of this look for the eyes is simply going to be what we apply on the lid, and I have something really special in store for you. So starting off, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mix together Naked and Buck. Reason being, I find that Naked on its own, on my skin tone, it isn't enough to really make a difference and create a sculpt that I want. And then Buck is almost a little too cool of a tone. So together they really make a nice neutral shade. Then I'm just going to tap it off because this does have a little bit of fallout. Taking my fluffy blending crease brush, I will also link this entire brush set with you. I love it. If you really are looking for a true brush set, I believe that this is the only one that literally has a brush that you need for every single step of your makeup look. I find a lot of them, they just have so many brushes in there that you'll never use, and it's a waste of your money. And then I also like to blend this shade right into my nose contour. I am all about an easy peasy eyeshadow look. Pop a good lash on and away you go, especially when we're using the lip as the moment. But either way, if you follow me, you know that I'm not a huge eyeshadow wearer. I like to keep my eyes really natural and bright because that's how I am on an everyday basis. So like, why would I go really smoky for an event? Then with those same two shades, I'm just using a fluffier smudge brush here, and I'm just lightly contouring my lower lash line. And really the goal here is to have the upper and lower eyeshadow connect together almost in a sideways V. And you can see how this just looks really sculpted, fluid, and it just finishes off the eye. Now for the lid, I'm gonna go in with this Patrick Ta Duo. This is in the shade Do You Know Who I Am? I'm gonna start with the brighter shade, and then I might go in with the darker one depending how this pulls on me. And you can see how these are really nice and metallic-y and glowy. And all I'm gonna be doing here is applying it to the very center of my lid. This is so stunning. And I'm not trying to be too intentional with the placement of this. Of course, I want it to be more so on my lid, but I want it to be almost like a model off-duty vibe. And referencing back to my Insta photo, that's kind of what the look was anyways. And you can see here how the pigment payoff is so nice. Like, look how pretty it is. But what I love about these is you get the glow, but it doesn't look too much. Like, it is perfectly too much, if you know what I mean. Then I'm just going to buff over the soft crease of my eye, and I am loving how this is looking right now. Then I'm dusting off that loose powder that was sitting here the whole time, and that is exactly how we remove any sparkles that maybe fell out. We just wipe away that powder instead. Mascara's on, and now it's time for the best part, in my opinion, the lashes. This is one of my favorite styles. This style is called Katie, and why I love it so much is because it's thick at the root, and then it fans out, and it's piecey. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, but what I love most about this style is it looks more undone. So if you like a more undone, edgier look, you would love this style. You'd also love Amber, Bridget, and Maddie. So many to choose from. Fun fact, if you didn't know, I started this line almost 10 years ago now, after my first year of being a bridal makeup artist. And here we are, still kicking it 10 years later. 25 wears or more with proper care, and you'll see how good they look once they're on. Now, if you are gonna hop on the lash train with me, you need to also be adding this glue here to the cart. It comes in clear or black. Reason being is because this glue comes off the band so nicely in one little string, literally, when you go to rewear them and remove the glue from the last time. So what I want to do here is apply a thin layer of glue to the top of the band. You don't want to flip it back. I like to do it at the top for two reasons. One, this way the glue will actually adhere to your eyelid itself, not your lash hairs. And two, because it's more so on the top, it is so much easier as well to remove, and you'll see exactly why once you try it out for yourself. It also truly is waterproof, and it's great if you have really watery eyes, if you have an important event like a wedding. In my bridal business, every single artist, we all use this glue because it is top notch and it is so stress-free. And another nice thing about this glue is it only takes about 20-30 seconds to get tacky, where Duo and other lash glues I find take almost a minute. Now, if you have a hard time applying lashes, this is my little trick. First of all, I like to have a lash applicator, and I hold the center of the false lash in the center of this applicator here. This way it's very sturdy, you can kind of control what you're doing. And then if you take a mirror, so like a mirror that's on a makeup palette or whatever you want to do, one of those swivelly mirrors that you can kind of like turn so you can look under it. And what you want to do is look down into the mirror, because when you look down and you're holding the lash like this, you can actually see where the band is going, where if you're just like in a mirror like this and you're trying to apply it, you can't really see what you're doing because your hand is in the way. So now that the glue is starting to get tacky, what I'm going to do here is go ahead and hit the center of the false lash to the center of my natural lash line, just like that. And it is tacky because it's not slipping around on me. And then what I want to do right here is very carefully just make sure that that outer corner and inner corner is adhered to my eye. Look at the difference. And the biggest key here is you want to make sure that there isn't a gap between your natural lashes and the false lash band. So now that the lashes are both on and they're almost dry, what I then like to do is go in there with my fingers, and essentially I am just pinching the root of the false lash together with the root of my natural lashes almost right into my waterline. And what this is going to do is two things. It's going to ensure that your lash is completely secure, and if it's loose, you will know exactly where you need to maybe add a little more glue. But it's also going to allow you to confirm or get rid of any minor spaces that you might have between your lash band and your natural lash line. And I'll zoom you in here so you can get a good look. Like, so good. Did we understand exactly why I am all about a lash? And it just finishes off the eyeshadow. Now for brows, I don't do anything too crazy to my brows. As you can see, I have a lot of brow naturally. I also have been getting my brows laminated for almost 3 years, maybe more honestly. So all I do is just simply fill in any sparse gaps to make them, again, sisters, not twins. And I just kind of fill in and then brush until I get the look that I want. Oh, hi George. George was being in a bratty mood, barking at like literally every noise he was hearing outside. And now he's just right next to me like a cute little Georgie boy, and he's sleeping in his bed I have a bed here in my office so that he can join me through the day because I'm always in this room. Now, if you two are loving your cream blushes and your cream powders, a mistake you are making if you're not already doing this is you're not locking them in with a powder blush and a powder bronzer or powder contour. You need to be doing this if you want your makeup to last all day, unless you are the very rare case of having perfect skin where literally makeup does not wear on you at all and it doesn't budge. For me, being a combination skin type, that is not the case. So what I'm gonna do is just go in with a bronzer. This is a new one from Armani. I really like it. And I'm just taking a fluffy brush. And again, I am essentially just locking in where I applied that cream contour, and I'm getting right into my hairline. Now, as for my blush, I am a huge advocate of the Hourglass blushes, even if you're an oily girl like me. I love these because they give you the glow, they give you the sheen, but they don't make you look oily or greasy. They just make your skin look healthy, and honestly, like every time I apply this on myself or any client, their skin looks like $1,000,000, okay? So taking a fluffy brush, this is also from Hourglass, I am going to kind of mix together these two shades here. I don't want it to be too pink, but I don't want it to be too purpley toned. And I'm really just trying to lock in that beautiful red liquid blush that we applied earlier, while also giving one more pop of pigment. I love blush. If you know me, you already know this. It makes such a difference, especially on camera. And it's always the first thing to not show up. And like, it really changes the look. Like, we are looking so good. Now, if you're an oily girl like me, especially in the T-zone, this is by far, in my opinion, the best pressed powder. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Powder. And you can see how this literally makes my skin look airbrush. It is so good. This powder is crazy, and the coolest thing is you can't even see it on the skin. Like, it looks so good. Now, for this red lip, it is really about the contour of the lip that creates that ombre effect and that sculpt. It is so in this year, and I am loving it. So I'm gonna go in with the one and only Makeup Forever Limitless Brown. It looks crazy once I apply it, but I'm telling you, once it's blended and all put together, you will see and understand the vision. So I'm just going to naturally line my bottom lip. I'm not doing any overlining or anything like that. So a little hack to remember how to best give a pouty look and overline your upper lip is this. You want to start the overlining process about a finger width in on that top lip. So you're never going to start overlining right from that very outer corner of your lip. You want to start it about right there. So you can see how this instantly makes my upper lip on this side way poutier looking than this side. Such a difference. So I'm now going to do the other so that they can match. So I'm just taking a lip brush here. You want something that is dense enough to really blur it out. Your fingers can also work good too, but be really careful that you don't mess up that perimeter border. And then we're taking a red lip liner. This is also by Makeup Forever in the shade Full Red. So we're gonna fill in the entire lip, and then we are going to create an ombre effect that's gonna blend together that dark brown with the red. Now that was the Extreme Artist pencil that I first used from Makeup Forever, but I actually think I prefer the original one. This one just isn't going on as seamlessly as this one does, and I think it's because this is supposed to be waterproof, which is great for that perimeter, but I need it to blend out a little bit better. So now I'm going in with the OG Limitless Brown, and all I'm gonna do here is just very lightly kind of buff and go over the original brown liner that I had first applied. And with my finger, I'm just going to buff it all together. This looks so good. I just love the brown against the red. It almost makes it more neutral feeling. Like sometimes I find that red feels really red on me, but this is just really breaking it down. And I am loving this. I'm for sure wearing this to the Christmas party that I'm going to tomorrow. Then for a gloss, I'm gonna go in with Haley's newest Rhode Lip Tint. It smells and looks so beautiful on. This is in Cinnamon Roll. And because this is more bronzy, this is gonna be really pretty, I feel, for this combo to kind of neutralize it a little bit more and just make it look really glitzy but natural. So here we go. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. You guys, are you seeing this? This just married everything together. Last but not least, this is always my finishing touch. I like to take a little bit of highlight and pop it right in that very inner corner of my eye. And then a little bit just right here, down my nose, blend with my finger. And here is the completed look. I love how it turned out. I'm 100% recreating this for my holiday party with Mark tomorrow. It's classy, it's elegant, it feels like me still, soft, has a touch of glam. And overall, I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to subscribe and let me know what kind of makeup tutorial you would like to see next. And until next time, besties, I will catch you next week. Later.